Hi, I'm Selena Mara, singing coach, and I help singers to unlock their vocal talent so they can sing with style and become confident and captivating vocalists and make an impact with their singing performances. So a lot of people ask me how to sing their high notes more freely, so I'm going to share some tips with you about that today. In fact, I'm going to share 4 strange secrets that help your high notes sound freer, easier, sweeter, clearer, stronger, and expand your high range above where it is at the moment. Now the truth is that in order to produce high notes efficiently and freely, we do need to set up the vocal instrument and the voice in a way that creates alignment and good relationship between all the parts of the voice so that we can really optimize the conditions for those high notes to come out fully and freely. Now I just want to give a word of warning. It's really important before you do any serious work on moving into the higher end of your range, then you really do need to do a decent warm-up session. So I'd say at least a good 10-minute vocal warm-up that will help limber everything up, put things in good condition and ready to be stretched, because after all, high notes are at one extreme of your range, therefore your voice needs to be in a higher level of fitness to be able to achieve them. So if you need to get hold of a 10-minute warm-up that will do just that, then you can get one for free on my website, and the link is below this video. So the strategy we need to enable those high notes to come out with ease, what I'm sharing with you today is really kind of 4 elements that are part of that overall strategy. So what are they? Well, first of all, we need to release tension in the tailbone area. Now it sounds strange. It may seem that the tailbone has very little to do with what's going on up here in the voice and the vocal cords, but believe me, it actually makes a huge difference. So a lot of us are a bit tense in the bum, well, tense everywhere really. But if you start to give your lower back a little massage, you'll probably find that tension there. And often we, clench our buttocks and do all sorts of crazy things. So I just want you to massage the lower back, tops of the buttocks, and have a little jiggle around and just feel your tailbone dropping. Just feel it releasing downwards, giving way to gravity. Have a nice little sigh while you bounce. We're keeping the feet flat on the ground, and the bouncing is just a bend in the knees and hips. So just feeling that freedom in the tailbone. And it helps to unravel the whole of the spine, which then helps things become freer in the vocal cords. So coming back to a still standing position, still feeling that sense of expansion in the tailbone. Okay. Now the second secret is to release the jaw. Now there's a singing scholar who says that the freedom of the jaw rests the freedom of the larynx. So the larynx is your voice box where your vocal cords lie in here, and it's incredible how much jaw tension most people hold and how much it creates stiffness and inefficiency in the vocal cords. So we're just going to massage into the jaw joint. Just there where your mouth opens, you can feel it bulging. Massage into that joint, nice and deeply around that whole area. And let your jaw relax. Stroke down the jawline. And really invite your jaw to completely relax. Just really let it go. So we end up in a nice gormless look. Good. So with that jaw relaxed and that tailbone relaxed, we're just going to sing a few notes just to get in the habit of making sound whilst maintaining those areas free. So you can do after me. Ah. Lovely. So do you feel how that relaxation in the jaw and the tailbone just help your sound come out with less effort? Yeah, and a free tone. Great. So you can do that without needing prior warm-ups, because those kind of act as a warm-up and as a freeing process. Now the next two are more of an effort. So number 3. So strange secret number 3 for freeing the high notes is to tilt the larynx. Now your larynx is here. For men it's the Adam's apple. For women it's the same spot. And your vocal cords stretch from front to back across your neck. Okay, they vibrate, they open and close, but they also lengthen and shorten. Now they stay short for low notes and they lengthen for high notes. And in order to enable your larynx, your vocal cords to lengthen, your larynx when they get really long for the highest notes, your larynx needs to tilt in order to facilitate that lengthening. Okay, so how do we do that? How do we tilt the larynx? Well, we use something that we already know how to do, and that is to cry. Well, not a real proper cry, but just get the feeling of a cry. Or you could think of it as a whimpering. So you could probably feel it from the outside if you put your fingers here, get into that cry position. You can feel there's a definite movement in here, can't you? What that's happening, there's all these muscles and cartilages in there, and they're tilting to enable the vocal cords, because a cry or a whimper is a high-pitched note, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. So we're just going to do that cry and just extend it into a long note. So have a go. Lovely. Get that feeling again. Now you can switch on the cry. Do a little cry. And then turn it into a song note. Have a go. Excellent. Great. One more time. Let's go into the cry without actually making the cry sound, because that's what we need to do ultimately, is be able to switch on that movement and then sing with it. So your turn. Excellent. So can you feel that movement? Now you've got the ability to switch on that tilt, which creates the ability for your vocal cords to lengthen fully without being pushed at. Okay, good stuff. And then the 4th one is we want to create what I call the parachute. Okay, so higher notes have higher pressure waves. Okay, the waves need to go up and they need to go somewhere. The sound is produced here in the throat, and then it travels up into the resonating spaces of your mouth and throat. Now, because they have these high pressure waves, that it needs to go somewhere. So when we create the idea of a parachute space inside our mouth, they have somewhere to go. Okay, so if I just sing a high note, but I let it just go up into my hard palate, now it sounds okay, but it sounds a bit sort of capped, wouldn't you say? A little bit sort of held in. So if instead I create a parachute, which is a big stretch in my soft palate. So you've got your hard palate here, and further back you've got your soft palate. It's a big stretchy muscle. So when I stretch that open, and I think of that space as opening, not only there in the muscles, but upwards through the top of, up through my head, out through the top of my head, and imagine that parachute is filling the room. And then I think of sending my high notes up into that space. Then all the tone that I do produce has got somewhere to go. It can move freely. So again, it's using the imagination, but it's also using the muscles. So we want to stretch the soft palate with a little bit of a smile. Okay. So we're going to go back to step 1. So we're going to relax the tailbone. Find that softening in the tailbone. Then just allow that release in the jaw. And then feel the tilt in the larynx with the cry feeling. And then I'm going to stretch and feel a sense of the sound traveling up and back through the top of my mouth, through my head, out the top to the ceiling. Okay, we want to send it up. So okay. Now that wasn't very high. Where was that? That's only an A. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to move up now. So now I'm going to give you the exercise to apply while you're enacting these 4 tips, these 4 techniques. You may find it's too difficult to do them all at once, in which case work this exercise through with each one in turn. So first with the tailbone, then with the jaw, then with the tilt, then with the parachute, and eventually you can bring them all together. So I'm going to be working through my range from low to high on the sound he, fo. Okay, we're going to do an arpeggio. The he and the h and the f help keep the breath moving, which is also an important part of singing high notes. So I'm going to start somewhere fairly low in my range. An A, below, middle, C. Okay. He, fo. Your turn. Great. Now I'm going to continue doing this on my own because I don't want you to do the exercise unless you've warmed up. So you can watch me go through it and then do your warm up and come back and have a go with me. So find whatever's fairly low in your range as a starting point and then move up from there, one step at a time. That's B. He, fo. So that was pretty easy because the top note of that sequence is an octave above the starting note. So I'm just going to switch on those 4 things again. Relaxing my tailbone. Then releasing my jaw. Finding the tilt here. And thinking, stretching, thinking upwards. He, fo. That was C. D. He, fo. And it's a good thing in the exercise to kind of use your arms to get a sense of when you get to that top note, throw it away. Find a sense of release. Like that high note is release. You're freeing it. You're giving it away. Okay? G. And really get that sense of just freeing it up on the top note. A. B. Not sure, because obviously everybody has a limit to their range. Okay, I'll give it a go. Okay, it wasn't so good. It was more of a push at the end. So at that moment, and you might have reached that moment earlier on, at the moment when you reach that, go to that high note that you know is a stretch for you, you've got to put even more focus on these strategies of freeing the tailbone, the jaw, tilting, sending it up. I'll do one more go. There we go. So you see it can come out with great power and clarity. I would say there's probably a little bit of a push there on that top B. I very rarely sing that high anyway. And I could probably do with a bit more a bit more work on this. But as you can see, I mean, I very, very rarely sing that B. I very rarely even sing the G in most of the songs I'm singing. But when you go through the exercises, suddenly they're there for you if you do things in the right way. Okay, so I hope you found this useful. And there is a lot to it. There's a lot to working the high notes, okay? There's a hell of a lot to do to create fitness and freedom and good condition in your voice, and learning the techniques and getting them really deep in your habits so the high notes are just there for you, so that you can sing the songs that you want to sing and do them justice instead of feeling that you're going to sort of squeak and push and strain. So if you'd like to really, make that higher range a part of your skill set, part of your talent and your ability, then I would really recommend my 4-week one-to-one training course called Flying High. And we will work with you where you're at with your voice and develop that condition, that freedom, and optimize everything so you can sing the songs and the notes that you really want to sing. So the information about that is just there below this video. So I hope you found these tips useful. Give them a go, do the warm-ups, then give them a go over and over again. And remember, it's a process, and don't push yourself, okay? Really bring full awareness to your experience while you're singing those exercises. Okay, enjoy. See you next time.